Welcome in everybody to week 3 of the Ragsdale Rumble. I am your host and referee as always, Big Mike. We are brought to you by the Herb and Rodg podcast. With me, I have the stars of the show and the competitors, Herb and Rodg. How are you guys doing today? We'll start with Herb. How are you doing?
Pretty much the best that ever was, the best there ever will be. So I'm doing pretty good.
So lame.
All right, a nice little Bret Hart reference. Rodg, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastically splendid on this beautiful Friday evening, Herb. Or I'm sorry, Mike. Sorry about that.
You can't even get the names right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, Mike.
I've got the glasses on, so we look a lot alike today.
We do. We do.
I can't tell the difference a lot of times.
And
so
y'all both have that Batman t-shirt too.
Rodg.
Yes,
I have my hat forward. Mike has his hat backwards. That's how you tell us apart. Okay.
I will always have my hat backwards in these just because I don't want to display any team, so I can remain kind of impartial.
Kind of
smart.
As the referee, I got to keep some sort of decorum as the referee.
Gotcha.
Nobody believes that.
Accuse me of cheating. Exactly. He's going to accuse me of cheating every week. And the score would say that because as of the first 2 weeks, we currently have Rodg in the lead. He has gone 12-9 in his picks.
Yes.
Herb is almost 500 at 10-11. He's sitting
right
on that 500 mark.
I don't believe that. I'm gonna have to go watch all the tapes.
He's actually below average. Oh man!
So, and I'm going to be honest, guys, in audience, I try to be as honest as possible. Not a lot of great games this week. Hopefully, it's the last week that it's going to be that way because we get into some conference play next week. I know there's a few little conference games here and there, but really next week is the one that kicks it up and really starts going.
Conference play, yes, sir.
We're going to jump right into it. Again, Herb, you will go first since you are behind. That way, you get to lead the picks. First game: K-State and Missouri. K-State is currently K-State and Missouri. Kansas State, K-State. Do you understand who that is?
Yeah, well, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, it's 5-point favorite for K-State, and the game is in Missouri.
Ooh, that's secretly like a
K-State
little interesting
that we
game.
mollywopped last year.
Yeah.
I'm going to just take Missouri at home. SEC. This is one of those picks that I feel like somewhere in the middle of the third quarter, I'm going to take a shot and go, why did you do that? But I'm going to go ahead and take Mizzou. SEC.
All right, I'm going to follow along. I think I'm going to stick with the SEC bias.
Well, you're going to follow along with the pick or with the shot?
The pick, not the shot.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the shot. I mean,
there's nothing wrong, and I probably am going to go venture to Total Wine tomorrow at some time, see what's available, but I don't know. I'm probably saving it for later, or I might save it for the 2:30 Alabama game, which we'll get into later.
Well, this may be the game that you don't actually have to have a shot for. Hopefully, which I mean, obviously we'll see on Bama versus the World how that turns out.
Yep.
I heard there was some confusion where we're playing at Bama versus the World. South Florida tried to confuse everybody. They got at least one person confused. I can confirm that.
Yes.
But that's another video for another time. Next pickup, you've got the North Carolina Tar Heels going into Minnesota. North Carolina is currently favored by 7.5. And Rodg, you go first on this one.
All right, looks like North Carolina is at home. Drake May's looking all right so far this season. I think he's projected. Mel Kiper projected him to be like I think the second quarterback taken after Caleb Williams, obviously. With that being said, Minnesota didn't look that great when they beat Nebraska 13-10. I think North Carolina's offense is going to help them out in this game, so I'm going to take UNC to cover. The line is by UNC by 7, so I think UNC covers.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I did it on Monday, it was 7.5, so it's apparently come down.
Yeah,
because I've got.
We're just picking the winner though, right? Regardless.
No, we're not doing that one.
Okay, because I agree with Rodg.
I was just throwing out there to make me sound like more educated.
Oh yeah, if only you could make yourself look more educated.
But and as refer back to the first episode, he is the genius of game day, so he does need to sound smart every now and then.
Thank you, Mike.
He didn't like that comment at all.
Yeah, I'm wearing a hoodie and it's 90 degrees outside.
That's because I was about to get into the shower. We decided to do this.
Come on.
You both are so scared of what's coming.
Just make the
audience. Look, I watched the show on Monday and I heard about the Get Your Chocolate.
Yes.
You don't need any of that here. We're going to keep this one nice and civil. We don't need to get anybody worked up right before the games.
Whenever we get merch started, we have to get that Get Your Chocolate award.
Get your chocolates.
It has to have her face on this behind it.
Yes, yeah. Get your chocolate. All right, North Carolina to win.
A very quick.
And I agree with Rodg. I just don't feel like Minnesota has the offense to continue this one. And a little bit of extra for North Carolina. You've got to think if Clemson is vulnerable, that gives you even a better shot in the ACC. So I feel like they're sensing like this is a season for them. So I know that's a bit bigger picture because Minnesota is like out of conference, but I think North Carolina, you're gonna have to take them a little more seriously this year.
Yeah.
So the total on this one is actually 50.5. Do you think they make it over the total?
I mean, you're hoping like 37-14. You know what I mean? Like Minnesota, as bad as what North Carolina's defense has been advertised as, they did hold down like South Carolina offense. You would think would have been high powered that first week. So like, you're almost hoping for like 35-40 points from North Carolina.
I'm thinking like 35-14 is going to be like the score. 35-14, 35-17, something like that.
And you'll be sitting there at the end hoping somebody kicks a field goal to get you over that 51. Yep. Please just get in field goal range. So.
All right, next up, we have Washington going into Michigan State. Look, I picked this. I know there's a lot of turmoil going on with Michigan State right now, but look, these situations in the past can either go one of two ways, obviously. Either the team will rally around the coach that they think they should still be there, or did they come out flat, with all the distractions. Currently, Washington's favored by 16. So I just wanted to pick that one just because all that. You never know how that team's going to play. Herb, you're up first.
I think Washington. I think before this, they were the better team. And, I hate what's going on with Michigan State, but I feel like especially that first week, they might still be reeling a little bit. But, Washington is kind of almost like a North Carolina to me, maybe a little bit unheralded in the Pac-12, but they should be taken seriously. So I feel like they're another team that's kind of on a mission in a particular that conference. I think Washington comes out firing. Plus, I think there's probably a little outside of let's get Penix in the Heisman conversation or stay in the Heisman conversation. So I think they come out firing.
Yeah, I agree with Herbina here too. I think I'm going to take Michael Penix Jr. and Washington as well. Michael Penix Jr. has looked pretty good this year. He only thrown one interception, about almost 900 yards, I believe, after looking at the stats that I just looked at. So that's why I know that information.
Right.
So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take Washington over Michigan State. Obviously, Michigan State has a lot going on that Herb, both you and Herb already previously mentioned. Yeah. So hopefully that situation works out for the best to everybody and fairness. But with that being said, anyway, I will take Washington this Saturday.
Good job, Monique.
Don't rush past the fact you said that you were looking that up. So can I confirm that Bob is no longer employed? Are you looking up your own stats now? Does Bob not do that?
We have not seen Bob in weeks.
Bob and I have had a slight disagreement. So I put him on what's it called, like temporary punishment for right now. He's you can call it sabbatical or whatever you want.
Non-paid leave.
Non-paid leave, temporary punishment.
To the Northeast or something?
No. He's around, but he's not around. We'll put it like that.
Okay. So I was just making sure that the people
I can talk to him whenever I want to talk to him, but right now I just don't feel like talking to Bob.
I got it. Look,
I feel like Bob's over in the corner babysitting. I feel like that's what's going on.
Look, when you're as good as Bob, you get a whole lot of different responsibilities. Sometimes looking up stats. Sometimes it's changing the diaper.
Yeah, don't get my water.
That's the versatility of Bob. Apparently, he also gets water.
Yes.
I didn't think we needed to see that. The RFC is a little disappointed to see how mean that was. But we'll move on to the next game. A little SEC flavor. You've got Tennessee going into Florida or playing against Florida, where they've historically been bad. They've only won like twice in Florida in the past 50 years or something like that, from what I've heard. But they are currently favored by 6.5. So, and Rodg, you're up first on this one. Go ahead.
Years ago, this probably would have been like a really, really entertaining game. Like one we all circle on the radar, like, yeah, we're really, really going to watch this game. But Florida's not really a great team. Billy Napier is going to probably most likely he's on the crispy seat or he's going to be gone after this year.
Yeah.
Tennessee has looked okay. They didn't look too great against Austin Peay last week, but I think Tennessee has a better quarterback and better offense to kind of get them through this game. Even though it is on the road, as you pointed out, I do think Tennessee covers. I think Tennessee wins by more than 6. They'll cover that.
The thing that scares me about this game is the line is only 6.5. You know, like if they had said this line was 14, I'd be like, oh yeah, well, I mean Tennessee easily. 6.5 scares me, but like
is that due to the slow start they had last week? Is that why it's that low?
But you know, I discount last week because it's Austin P. You've got Florida coming up, and you know, kids are human. You know, you're looking at that game going, I just don't have to give the most. I'm sure that the coaches don't want to show everything on tape either against that team. Like, I don't know. Tennessee's just the better team. Point blank. And
so, to me, you have to look at that too to think how much credit are they giving Utah against that Florida game in the first week? Because Utah still came and handled business last week with a backup quarterback. Still, ended up winning their game. How much to me that gives more respect to Utah than it does either Florida or Tennessee. The fact that it's still that's going to be that close, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. So, do you also think Tennessee, Herb? I don't think you actually.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely taking Tennessee. I can't think of a good credible argument for Florida.
Okay, a little local flavor now. Going with Louisiana, formerly UL Lafayette versus UAB. Right here in Birmingham, UAB. It's a special game for them. They have the Camp Smilemaw kids. Something they've started doing every year, where they have a child's name from Camp Smilemaw on the back of their jerseys to represent them. So it's a really emotional game. They've been at practice all week. I've heard, UAB Coach Dilford talk about how much emotion has been through the game. So they're currently favored by 2 points and at home. So I wanted to pick that one. Herb, what do you think?
I mean, after that intro, how could I not pick UAB? I mean, do I hate the kids if I pick against them? Like, no, I'm good on that. I'm taking UAB. I would have taken UAB no matter what. But after that, I feel like Mike's gonna smack me if I don't take them. So
Rodg loves the kids.
Or am I trying to bait you into taking you?
Yeah, okay. You I mean, Herb, a kid is put out in the home, homeless if you don't pick UAB, but that's fine. It's whatever, Herb. You do what you want.
Right. It's not one of those late commercials where like 9 cents feeds a family for a year. It's not one of those. No,
I felt like it listening to that intro. I'm picking UAB.
Rodg loves the kids. I'm sticking with UAB at home.
UAB, okay. Yeah. Good coming back from that mean interaction with Bob earlier and picking the kids. Good job there, Rob. Next up, you have Arkansas and BYU, another SEC game. Arkansas is currently favored by 9.5. BYU was supposed to have a good season this year coming in the preseason. They've kind of struggled a little bit, but getting to go up against Arkansas, it looks like it's in BYU as well. But Arkansas is favored by 9.5. And what do you think, Rodg?
I'm rolling with the SEC in this one. Arkansas, KJ Jefferson in Arkansas. KJ Jefferson is still playing, right? I haven't really. The reason I say that is because I haven't really heard much from him or about him this season. I don't know what's going on there. I have to dive a little more into this game specifically, but I'm going to go ahead and take Arkansas on the road.
Is it not at Arkansas? Is this game not at Arkansas?
It is at Arkansas. I'm sorry.
Is it?
Sorry.
Oh, okay, I must have written it down wrong. I'm sorry. So apparently South Florida still has me confused on where people are playing in Arkansas, which is probably why they're favored 9.5. I thought that line seemed weird when I wrote it down, but it is.
Sorry. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll take Arkansas at home.
Yeah, the total at 47 leads me to think they think it's going to be kind of like a physical, maybe not high-scoring game. I would have given Arkansas the edge either way. Didn't realize BYU was 2-0 going into this, though. And their first, season in the Big 12, so that does mean a little bit more for them, I guess. But I'm taking Arkansas at home. Yeah. And, Rod, it is interesting, Rod. You haven't heard us. Like, you would think KJ Jefferson hadn't played at all.
That's what I'm saying. Prior to the season starting, there was a lot of hype about him, and he's going to have a huge season. But I haven't really heard anything about him, so I'm going to have to dive into his stats to see what's going on there.
You're not going to look up a single thing after in this segment. But, I'm taking Arkansas at home.
Okay. Hey, Rodg, you agree with that, Arkansas as well?
Yeah, Arkansas at home.
Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. So coming up next, you have just a really good rivalry game, Pittsburgh and West Virginia. Pittsburgh is currently favored by 1 point.
Is this the backyard brawl?
I'm not sure. Or is this the one that's there's a lot of names between a lot of the teams out there. One is like just good old fashioned hate or something like that is the actual name of the game, which is kind of weird. I thought that was this one, but it may not be. Like I said, Pitt is currently favored by 1 point. It is in West Virginia. I can confirm. I'm not confused on that one now, so I got that straightened out.
Might just be lying to us, Rod. He just be like, you know what? It's Pittsburgh and West Virginia. The game's in Hawaii. So go ahead, guys. What do you think?
I mean, it may be more entertaining if it's in Hawaii. You got the beach in the background.
Yeah. It is the backyard brawl. So this actually means something to these guys.
I knew it was a rivalry, so I knew at least.
I know West Virginia is favored.
Nope.
But I'm gonna take Pitt in this one. I'm gonna take Pitt in this one. Go ahead, Rodg.
I'm going to do something we used to do when Herb and I first got started on this podcast.
Oh, my God. We didn't do this when we first got started. And you just made it up randomly.
I made it up and called it my anti-Herb pick. So I'm going to pick Herb pick West Virginia, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick.
If you're going to do it, you have to do it.
Give me cue me in.
3, 2, 1.
Anti-Herb pick. I'm going with Pitt. Simply, it has nothing.
I picked Pitt.
I mean West Virginia. I'm going with West Virginia. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with stats.
In his defense, he just asked you if you picked West Virginia, and you said yes.
Right.
Because I actually wrote down West Virginia. So you said West Virginia.
I didn't even hear him ask me.
Yeah, I did. You said. So who did you pick? Just for everybody.
I said I picked Pitt.
Okay, I'm gonna go with West Virginia, and this has nothing to do with stats, numbers, the line. It's simply because Herb picked one, and I want to pick the opposite.
Wow. So just some insight. I heard Herb say that West Virginia is favored. When I looked at these on Monday and pulled them up, Pittsburgh was actually favored by a point. So this line is actually moved.
It can go either way. Yeah.
So even Vegas is kind of iffy on it. So it's really just a pickup game or pick'em game. Could go either way. Good old rivalry. And we'll have to see how that pans out at 6:30 on ABC if you want to check it out.
Probably not.
After the Alabama and Florida game. That does look. It comes right after Alabama, South Florida.
You're right.
You're already going to be on that channel anyway.
That is true. That is true.
You've taken one too many of those shots and can't really change the channel. At least you got a decent game coming through.
And hopefully I'm taking a nap at that point then.
Yeah.
All right, next game up, TCU. We've all seen kind of what happened with TCU that first game against who? That would be Colorado. Somebody's picked Colorado most of this year. I'm not going to mention which of the three of us has done that. I don't know.
They've only played 2 games, Mike. Mike acting like that. This is game 10, and he's like 10-0. True
or false? Have I not been on them since Dion took that job?
You mean have you been on them for both of their games? Yes, Mike. You are 2-0 picking
in the preseason. While everybody was saying they were going to stink and lose, I've been picking Colorado both games.
So you are 2-0 with Colorado.
Yes. Who else is? Coach Prime. He's 2-0 as well, about to be 3-0 because he didn't take his hat and his glasses off apparently, and that made Colorado mad. Which we're not picking that game because I think it's going to be such a blowout. It's the first Colorado game that I'm not putting on the list just because of that. But you do have TCU going into Houston, unless I wrote it down wrong. We're going to double check it.
We got Mike spooked.
I told you it's been a long week. Houston was on Monday because I know some of these lines have changed as we found. When I looked at it on Monday, TCU was favored by 7.5.
Right. That looks like it's still holding.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with TCU too. I think Houston just lost to Rice the last week, so I'm gonna go with TCU on this one. I don't think
don't ever hate on Rice, baby.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I'm taking TCU.
There are so many ways you could have went with that with all the Rice puns, and you went with that one.
Yeah,
that was disappointing.
What would you have gone with, Mike?
Not a rice baby. I'd have picked something with rice.
Yeah, you see how Mike didn't have one, and he was like, "I don't have one," but that's just not the one. That sounds like what my wife said.
It's not my job to come up with them. It's my job to critique, not my job.
No, your job is really supposed to be moving this segment along, Mike. Before I stab you.
You can't stab. He's wearing a Batman shirt. You can't harm him.
Oh, that's true. I'll stab Rodg and pretend like it's you.
To be honest, if you stabbed Rodg, it would probably hurt me more than it would.
That is true. As captain of the RFC, that would.
He is captain of the RFC. Yes.
Yeah.
So you are picking TCU as well?
Yes.
Okay. Since I'm making it go long, I need to cut it short. Next up, you guys have Syracuse versus Purdue.
I don't think it's your fault. The show has gone off the rails, and it seems like it's everyone's fault.
Yeah,
as you've heard
a little bit of everybody.
You've heard the great Nick Saban a long time say, "We win as a team, we lose as a team." So it's just as much as my fault as anybody else.
I plan on just blaming both of you, to be honest. But go ahead.
I'm used to it. I saw what you put on Twitter earlier. I got you. Syracuse against Purdue coming up in the next game. Syracuse favored by 2.5. I know it's not a great matchup name-wise, but it is a close line at 2.5, so it makes it good to pick. Herb, who you got in mind?
Where is it at?
Who knows? I've got it listed as Purdue. It may be in Washington. Who knows at this point? It is.
So it's at Purdue.
It is. It might be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. We don't know.
Apparently, Alabama's not playing there, so it's open.
Maybe they're just renting the place out.
Yeah.
Oh man, what is it? Gino Babers. I feel like he's gonna get fired this year, so I'm gonna go with Syracuse. I know Purdue started. Would they win the Big Ten West last year? But they started off this year losing to somebody terrible. I'm gonna go with Syracuse, even if they're on the road or at home or in Tuscaloosa. I'm gonna go with Syracuse.
I'm gonna go with the home team here. Well, what I was told the home team as far as Purdue. So
it is. I have confirmed it is Purdue.
All right. We confirmed. I'm gonna go with the home team here.
Wait, Rod. Here's Rod. Hold on. What? Yes, they are the home team, Rod. We have confirmed.
Look,
they are
I've
the
got
home
in my
team.
ear. Look, getting information. I don't have Bob. Apparently, he's chained up in a room somewhere, so we're kind of lacking on information. So I'm doing the best I can. So just so I get that, Roger, I didn't hear your pick. Are you going?
I got Purdue.
Purdue.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's another disagreement between the brothers.
Yes.
I think that's only the second one this week. So there's a little chance
there was
for
an anti-Herb pick and then
then there's a Purdue pick. Next up, you've got Vandy at UNLV. Vandy is currently favored by 4, or at least they were on Monday. It's hard to see Vandy favored in the game. They're trying to get to, I know their total for the season was 3.5. They're trying to get to that. Who do you got and why, Rodg?
Vanderbilt's are 2-1. I'm gonna take Vanderbilt just to stick with the SEC in this one. I think their GPA is gonna go even higher after this game.
I'm not sure it could go any higher, Rod. They're geniuses.
They are geniuses, but it looks like they've been playing like geniuses on the football field this year too.
At least for 2 of the games, I guess.
Yeah, except for
those are the jokes we're letting slide.
Okay.
Gotcha. Those are the jokes we're going with. Okay.
I'm going with Vandy.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm gonna go with Vandy also because I just can't pick them against UNLV. Or pick UNLV. That's ridiculous. I'm going with Vandy.
All right, and last but not least, another SEC game coming through. It's a pretty big line, but you never know what can happen. The UGA has struggled a little bit. We've got South Carolina and Georgia. Currently the line is Georgia by, I think, 1 million. I don't know if that's an official line, but Georgia has struggled. They haven't really put people away like they had. South Carolina had that, the big loss to North Carolina at the beginning of the year, but they've, really rallied around. They've been good the past few years. So we're going to look at this one. Rod, who you got and why?
I'm gonna take Georgia. Georgia's favored by 27. I don't think they're gonna have any problems in this game, but I am gonna say something. Georgia will not cover in this game. I think Spencer Rattler's gonna have a surprisingly decent game and keep it.
What kind of commercial is this? Hey, Spencer Rattler will be surprisingly decent.
He's gonna be surprisingly decent.
That's not. So his Heisman
it.
campaign is not kicking off.
Oh no, that's gone.
That's like, honestly, Raj, I got to go with Urban. It's kind of like turning on the TV and seeing a car commercial and coming and say, well, we've got the okayest cars in the West.
Yeah.
That's that T-shirt. That's that T-shirt I gave you, Raj.
But you know what? Since you guys are saying this, I'm going to start saying surprisingly decent a lot more now. I like that phrase. Spencer Rattler is going to be surprisingly decent, and he's going to make this an entertaining first half of a game. But Georgia is going to win, but they're not going to cover by 27. You've heard it here first.
Raj kind of stole my line there because I was going to come out and say
that. So you were going to say surprisingly decent as well?
No, I'm not going to take that lame old line. South Carolina. Oh, you didn't want to laugh anymore, Raj? That was wrong.
It was funny at first, and I thought about what you said.
South Carolina is going to come out. They're going to come out fired up. They're going to put a scare into Georgia, and they will cover the first quarter, and then Georgia will take over from there. Georgia wins.
All right.
Okay. And that is all for our scheduled games. As always, we don't pick Alabama, but there's a lot going on with Alabama. Supposedly, a lot of rumors about a new quarterback starting. I know you guys aren't the biggest fans of that. I know one is a little bit more up in arms about it than the other, as we found out on Twitter earlier. So if Buckner starts, which it seems to be that's where it's headed, how do you think the Alabama game will turn out, Raj?
If Buckner starts, I still think we. What is the line? Alabama by like 27 or something like
30. Last I heard it was like 32.
32 or something. I still think Alabama covers simply because we're playing a much more inferior opponent. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens because I really don't know how good Tyler. I mean, he played a few games last year before he got hurt, but I really don't know how good of a quarterback he's going to be. I'm going to be more interested to see how he reads the defense. Excuse me, and to be honest, at the end of the day, regardless of who starts or who doesn't start, if our O-line doesn't play well and doesn't block, it's not really going to matter how good, it's not going to matter what the quarterback does if he doesn't have time to throw the ball. So I think Tyler starts based on what we're hearing. I think he has a pretty good game, no interceptions. And I think somewhere in the game, they either put in Ty Simpson or Milroe. And like I was talking to you before we got on the show, it kind of sucks for Milroe, obviously, because he's not going to be getting in some reps that maybe he should be getting in, but maybe this is going to kind of light a fire under him to play even better. And again, even you mentioned this doesn't mean that Tyler's going to be the starter going forward. This just means that he's probably going to start tomorrow. So the QB competition is still in play at Alabama. We don't know who QB1 is now. So, but we'll see what happens tomorrow.
So keep in mind too, and then Herb, I'll let you respond. We kind of had the similar situation in 2015. Where Jake Coker started the season, then they put, I think it was like Cooper Bateman in for a game, and he kind of struggled. And from the analysis I've heard from a few local radio stations that are radio guys, is that kind of made Coker realize, okay, I am the guy. I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore. Yeah. He struggled. They gave him a shot. That could be the same thing for Milroe if that happens. But I mean, we've had similar situations in the past. They've turned out well, but who knows? Yeah. We'll have to see on Saturday. Herb, what do you think the game's going to turn out to be?
I mean, I think Alabama's going to roll regardless. So I think all this will probably be a moot point because we'll probably end up running really well anyway, and nobody will care about all quarterback competition. So I think we're going to end up learning a lot less than everybody thinks we're going to learn in this game. But Alabama will roll.
Yeah. So one word, yes or no, and this will be the last question before we get out of here. Does Buckner start next week against Ole Miss?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes.
So both of you say yes. There we go. I think he's going to be the quarterback at least for one more game after this to start, and we'll have to see.
Well, I mean, they're giving him a cupcake game to start.
Yeah, he's going to look so good tomorrow. They're going to be like, oh, man, we need to start him again. So.
Yep, and the fan base will be up in arms.
I would like to see him throw for at least 300 yards, though. That would be interesting.
And I will make a correction from Twitter that I got called out on. I have said from day one, before the season, just like with Prime, I said before the season that Buckner was going to start. I saw somebody say that I didn't say that or something like that earlier on Twitter when I said it. But I did say from day one that I think Buckner will start, and that is in no way affecting my objectivity of who I think should be the starting quarterback. Whether you want to believe that part or not is up to you.
Nobody believes that, Mike. The fact that you brought that up means nobody believes that, Mike. Sorry.
But hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully we have a great game. Above all else, we have a great game on Saturday. A great day of games on Saturday. Hopefully everybody has a great time.
You too.
Be safe, and hopefully everybody see you next week.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Herb loves the kids.